In this tutorial, I'm going to be in this tutorial for Nana's embellishments on her body, we're going to be dealing with my favorite technique for making sure that floats in Colourwork don't end up too short. A float is the name for the traveling yarn behind the fabric that floats behind, that isn't being knit. And if these passages of fabric aren't long enough, they pull the fabric together and they tighten it up. They can cause bunching and wrinkling and just generally not being as awesome as you'd want your work to look if you're taking all the time to put this fancy detail in. So a lot of people will do things like making sure to always stretch the work out on their needle tip, like the following. So I am working, let's see, this is round 34. So I will slip one, knit one, the next three are slipped, slip one, and before I go much further, now I can pull this to make sure that these stitches are sort of the right distance apart, and then you can even like tap it with your finger and go to work the next one. Depends on how your knitting style is. Oh, and I should slip the next three. So slip, 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 knit, and then just kind of pull, like push these back a little bit, not super far, but just enough to make sure that you know that the float has give that is the same as the fabric. Now that is one way to do it, and there are other ways, but I'm going to be demonstrating knitting inside out because that I think is the way that people have a really hard time envisioning. It works really well for stranded color work as well as mosaic, and I just want to give you a look at what it's going to look like for Nana. When we're knitting right side out, the fabric with the stockinette side is closest to us. Whether we're working magic loop or DPNs, this front side of the work is the right side of the work, and we are comfortable with that and we can see what we're doing. And a lot of people think that if you're going to knit inside out, you're going to have to be working like on the purl side or something, but that's not the way it's going to be. So let's just flip our Nana here, inside out. All right, the yarn is coming off this stitch here. So I just finished this needle. So I'm going to rotate this clockwise. So clockwise. So this will be the next needle I knit. And you can see that I am now working on the inside of the circle, but I'm still looking at the front of the work. So for DPNs, that looks like this. The triangle is like this. The stockinette side is here facing me, and the tip of the three needles, the tip of the triangle here is facing towards me. So I would slip my stitches and then knit. So on the outside of this circle, the floats have a little farther to travel than they do on the inside of the circle, and that just naturally encourages them to be the right amount. It also eliminates the problem that happens when floats travel across corners. This is a problem both in DPNs and in Magic Loop, because that float at the corner is actually traveling around the outside, so it can't cut across. So apologies if the cord starts to make noise against the board. I will try to edit that, but this is one reason why I do most of my demonstrations with DPNs, is because the cord can kind of get in my way and make sounds. But so Magic Loop normally looks like this. We have the stitches on the front needle, the yarn coming off the back needle, and then we have pulled things through so that the cord is back here. With the stitches are on cord back here so that we can be working onto the needle. And then we've got our little magic loop ears. So then we would slip the three stitches and then knit one. And this is where the float problem can happen, right? Where we're traveling across that corner and that can get really small. Or we can sometimes pinch it with our finger to get the size right. But if we were to switch this inside out, it would be really easy. And here's what it would look like. So I would push my hat in. I'm still working, seeing the front of the work. The back of the work is here. The inside of Nana is here towards me, so the stitches on the cord are this way, and I'm still working with the right side visible to me. So I'm not having to purl or to interpret stitches backwards or something like that. It's just literally I flip things inside out and I'm working on the back of the circle rather than the front of the circle. If you are using the two circular methods, it will look somewhat similar, except that the needle you are working on will be this side, and then the needle you are ignoring is this one. But in terms of like the visual setup, it's very similar to what it looks like here with the magic loop. And so that is what it looks like to work on the inside of an inside out knitting project. I hope this helps you with Gnana and getting your tension right. Do what works best for you. There are no knitting police, and it's all about finding techniques that work for you, your needle setup, the way your fingers work, and the way your brain works. Happy gnoming.